A very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the Asian Law Institute Open Forum. This forum is a platform for ASLI to share about its programs, as well as to invite questions or suggestions from both members and non-members. I'm very pleased to invite Associate Professor Calry Loy, our co-director of ASLI, to host the Open Forum. Professor Calry, please.
Hello, and thanks, Jaya. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ASLI conference and, of course, the Open Forum. The Open Forum exists for a particular reason, right? Because uh, ASLI member institutions, of course, well, as member institutions, sometimes you have to sit down and talk about matters of mutual interest. Um, Plus, the conference itself has got attendees from non-member institutions as well. And for that reason, the open forum serves as, of course, the forum for them to sit down and talk about ASLI. What's there to talk about ASLI, you might ask then? Well, essentially it's a session for us to hopefully influence some of you, having understood what ASLI does and having seen for yourself what ASLI can do. Hopefully you might go back and uh, influence your institution to join as a member of ASLI, right? So anyway, welcome to the first ever online ASLI conference hosted by NLU Delhi, and welcome to the open forum, right? So can we start on the slides then? Right, so ASLI membership is based on institutions rather than individuals. So you know, as individual scholars, you don't become a member of ASLI. What you do is you get your institution, your law school, to become an ASLI member. All right. So the application forms and the application process are available on the ASLI webpage. Now, why join ASLI? There are some advantages, all right, of joining ASLI as a member. As you can see, the member institution, say for example, your law school decides to apply, and the application, if it goes through and is accepted, the member institution will receive 2 copies of the Asian Journal of Comparative Law each year, right? So the journal is the flagship journal of ASLI, all right? It is run by it is run at the NUS, all right? It's a highly regarded journal with very good quality publications of refereed articles on, you know, Asian law and comparative law, right? So the faculty members, at ASLI member institutions are also eligible, all right, to apply for the ASLI fellowship. So what is this ASLI fellowship about? Each year, a number of ASLI fellows are selected on a competitive basis, all right, to come to visit NUS Law. Uh, you know, at the end of the day, the ASLI fellowship has to be hosted somewhere, and then since NUS Law is the institution hosting the ASLI Secretariat, so it made sense for the ASLI Fellowship to be hosted at NUS Law School. So these ASLI fellows who are selected, uh, they will have the opportunity to conduct their research, whatever research it is that they're trying to do on Asian law. And for that period of 1 to 2 months, when they are visiting NUS as the ASLI visiting fellow, they have the opportunity to do their research here. And what's the point, you might say? They can do their research elsewhere. Why do it here? Well, because we normally have around 6 to 8 ASLI fellows visiting, all right? And so what will happen is that these are scholars from member institutions of ASLI. So you get to sit down together, not just with NUS law faculty members, but 6 to 8 ASLI fellows who are visiting at about the same time. Um, so you can discuss matters of mutual interest. You can meet up with scholars who are working on interesting projects from other ASLI member institutions, right? Now, ASLI will pay for the airfare for the ASLI fellows to come to Singapore, to NUS, and also will also provide a stipend for their period of their fellowship here at NUS. So it is an ideal platform for the visiting fellow, the ASLI visiting fellow, to come here and get to know people at NUS Law School who are working on matters of interest in research areas. And also to meet the other ASLI fellows, as I said, who might be visiting at the same time. All right. By the way, you are all here because you're here for the ASLI conference. And when you attend the ASLI conference, there's of course the conference fee. So if your institution is an ASLI member, then when you apply to attend the ASLI conference, you get a discount, quite a substantial discount. All right. So essentially, your institution's membership fees pays for itself. All right. Yeah. The next slide. Jaya?
Just give me a moment, Carrie.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know what happened. There seems to be a technical issue.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Okay, let me just go to this slide then. Okay, okay.
Right. So as of now, ASLI has got 96 members, 96 law schools are members of ASLI right now. We have 16 founding members, all right? And the founding members, of course, they form the board of governors of ASLI. Now, so the annual membership fee to be a member institution of ASLI is actually quite low, right? It's about $200 per institution or $300 per institution. It depends on whether you're on a particular list. The list was compiled based on considerations of whether the particular jurisdiction is economically developed or economically speaking still not quite developed. All right. Now, the application form and other details about ASLI membership are available on the ASLI website. So I would again suggest, all right, those of you who are here today and your institutions, your law schools are not ASLI members yet, to perhaps go back and talk to your dean about joining. All right. So as of now, out of the 96 member out of the 96 ASLI members, 11 are from India, 18 from China, and 9 from Australia. So these are the top 3 jurisdictions. All right. But the truth of the matter is, ASLI institutions come from all over the world. Some from the US, Indonesia, Malaysia, Korea, Japan, Kazakhstan, and really all over. South Africa. All right. The next slide, Jaya. Right. Now, so I was talking about the ASLI Fellowship Program just now. As I said, it's a very valuable opportunity for ASLI visiting fellows to be able to come here for anything up to 2 months, all right? It can be shorter, it can be for 1 month or 2 months, something like that, all right? So every year we receive a lot of applications, all right, for scholars to come here as the ASLI visiting fellows, all right? And then we go through their proposals, their research proposals. They write in and tell us what research they wish to do during this 1 or 2 month period, what kind of paper they're going to write. And then looking at it, they are selected on a competitive merit system. All right, we look at which papers are suitable, and of course we also look at the trying to get a proper mix of ASLI visiting fellows. All right, and then ASLI will pay for their stipend and airfare, and then when they are here, the ASLI fellows will be seated, all right, we'll provide some office space and they'll be seated near to each other so as to provide some fellowship, some companionship, and they can discuss their mutual interests in their research and other matters amongst themselves as well, all right, not just with NUS colleagues, but with other Asian law scholars, all right, from other universities who are here in their capacity as ASLI visiting fellows. All right. So the key here is that they must be doing research on legal issues of interest to some Asian jurisdiction, or comparing between Asian jurisdictions. All right. It's essentially Asian law broadly defined. Now, during their stay of 1 or 2 months in Singapore, the ASLI visiting fellow is expected to present a seminar, all right, here, right, present a seminar based on his or her work, research done during the ASLI fellowship, all right, and of course that product, all right, is then contributed towards the ASLI working paper series, all right, shortly after they finish their fellowship. So you present something on your research, you make your research more reader friendly, more coherent, you improve it. And then when it is of a particular standard, taking into account comments from interested scholars who have come and listened to your presentation, taking into account the suggestions and comments, after it's become better and you feel that it is appropriate, then it's put up online. It becomes part of the collection, all right, of the ASLI working paper series, all right, and you can look at the papers on the ASLI website. There's a collection of them there. Jaya? Right. Anyway, this year, all right, so that's all I had to say about the ASLI fellowship. Now, the conference, the first time we're holding it online, a large number of abstracts were sent in. Originally, the conference was intended, all right, it was scheduled for June 2020, but because of the COVID-19 situation, we postponed it to November, hoping that the whole thing will blow over. It did not, so we converted it online in November right now. So a large number of abstracts were sent in, and we had to be very selective, but ultimately also even some of the papers that we selected, the authors or presenters actually withdrew from the conference because of scheduling difficulties. But we have a very good selection of 108 papers being presented at this conference, all right, spreading across 29 panels, covering 22 discussion themes and topics, all right. The largest numbers of papers are from India, Indonesia, all right, and countries from all over the world. Okay. Before we move on to questions and suggestions, can I just say that apart from the ASLI visiting fellows, we have some other initiatives. So our immediate past director, Professor Wang Jiangyu, was director of ASLI last year. before he left Singapore to go to Hong Kong. All right. So one of the initiatives that he started was an informal visitorship. So if your institution is an ASLI member, and then you are going on leave for a month or two, all right, to do some research, for example, you could, and then you think you are flying through or staying in Singapore, you think that in Singapore you'll be able to do some research, but at the same time, you don't really want to formally apply to be an ASLI visiting fellow. All you need and all you want, you don't want any stipend, you don't need any airfare to be paid for, you'll finance yourself. All you want is a room to sit down, all right, an office space to sit down quietly and do your own research, all right. ASLI is our ASLI secretariat here is very happy to provide you with that sort of facility. So you can come here and sit down at NUS Law School's premises at our campus in Singapore uh, for 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 a week, 2 weeks, uh, where you quietly sit down and do your own research. We'll provide you with library access during this period. All right, so it's the friendly thing. It's the friendly sort of thing that the ASLI Secretariat, all right, is offering to ASLI member institutions and full-time faculty members of the ASLI institutions, all right? When you're passing through Singapore or you just want a short stay in Singapore to do your own research, well, I'm sorry, we can't pay your airfare, but we are happy to host you for a while and make you comfortable, all right? So can I just, if you have any questions or you have anything to say, perhaps just indicate to Jaya.
Does anyone have any comments or suggestions to make for ASLI? Okay, we have Ms. Priyanka who says thank you for your presentation.
Oh, that's very kind. That's very kind. I think most people just want to get on to the other very interesting panel presentations. I was just at a criminal law presentation earlier on. All right. I mean, the whole point of having a conference is to sit down and listen to the academic papers being presented, right? Not to listen to me talk rubbish. Huh. So let's just give yourselves a few more seconds just in case someone has something to say. And then otherwise we can all, have our tea and move on to the very interesting panel presentations. In fact, I have highlighted a few that I want to attend later.
Okay, looks like everyone. Okay, oh, there is a question from Apangudi Kandelwal. When will the window for application for fellowship program open?
Oh, I've forgotten the dates. Jaya, when are the usual application windows?
Okay, usually we invite applications for 2 semesters, for over 2 semesters. So the first semester is usually from September to November of that year. And then for second semester visits, it's March. No, actually, it's only one call every year. So it's in June or July.
So essentially during June or July,
Yes,
that's when we have a call for applications. So in
yes,
June or July, the call for applications goes out and people who are interested put in their applications with the support of the faculty of the member institution. Yeah. So
that's right.
for you to apply, you need to get your institution, your faculty to support your application. Yeah. So the applications come in, we go through, we collect and collate all the applications, and then we select them based on a competitive basis between 6 to 8 ASLI fellows, and then they will visit across 2 separate semesters. Yeah.
Okay, there's another question. If okay, from Miss Renuka, what does ASLI has to offer for research scholars?
Uh, the ASLI is
देखो तुमको मेडिकल का डाउट है देन ऑलवेज
well, ASLI is a group of institutions, right? So what we do is we provide a forum, an annual forum at the ASLI conference where scholars can come and present their work. And secondly, the ASLI fellowship, as I say, allows different scholars from different ASLI member institutions to come together, all right? They visit as ASLI fellows at the same time, all right? And then they can work together, build friendships, and maybe forge opportunities to collaborate in the future. Um, Other than that, there are also informal arrangements that ASLI members can come to between themselves, all right, at these meetings. Of course, this year is very odd because it's a virtual meeting, but in past years, as I understand it, whenever the ASLI conference takes place, there will be a lot of informal meetings where people will meet up and talk about collaborations as to their future research. Um, I think in the chat I see a question from Priyanka asking if the papers presented in the conference could be considered directly for publication. I'm afraid not. Why? Because the conference doesn't actually lead to a publication of conference papers. What you can do is that if you are presenting a full article at the conference, what you can do then is to send it on to the editors of the Asian Journal of Comparative Law and submit it for consideration for publication and for refereeing, right? Yeah.
We have another question from Mr. Arul. ASLI website talks about a young scholars workshop. Has that program been discontinued?
Very interesting. Now, the thing is this, ASLI has limited resources, all right, time-wise, manpower-wise, and that sort of thing. So the way we commit our resources, the way we use our resources differs from year to year. So for the moment, since last year and this year, for example, a lot of our resources in terms of money and manpower was allocated towards the Young Scholars Workshop, all right, which is co-hosted by the Center for Asian Research, all right, CALS. So if we were to consider hosting some other form of workshop or some other symposium, we'll have to free up resources from elsewhere as well. So that is something that we have to think about. I do have some ideas in mind. Hopefully we can restart some of the other programs, all right? So it's a question of adjusting how we allocate resources, and that's not an easy thing to do, all right? But thank you.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps I can add to what Carrie said earlier about what ASLI has to offer for research scholars. I take that to mean when they come to visit NUS Law as ASLI fellows, quite apart from interacting, of course, with fellow ASLI fellows and presenting your work. Of course, during term time, right? I mean, the teaching will be going on, and there are lots of activities going on at the law school. So the ASLI fellow is more than welcome to participate in all activities, all academic activities at the law school. Yeah, I mean, the best thing, of course, is to visit when teaching is ongoing, and where we have visits also by outside people. When they come, they give talks as well. So it's a very vibrant academic community. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Are there any other last questions? Looks like everyone is ready for their tea or coffee and to go ahead with the other panels that are going to start very soon. If there are no more last questions, then let's thank both our co-directors of the Asian Law Institute, Associate Professor Carrie Loy and Associate Professor Wee Meng Seng. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, professors.
No. Thanks to everyone, for coming. Thanks everyone for coming, and yeah, thanks Alex and Jaya. Thanks.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you
for
very much. If that is, if with that, the open forum comes to a close, wishing everyone a fruitful conference ahead. Thank you, everyone. A very good afternoon. Thank you.